Welcome to the Gibbons Talks Boxing YouTube channel. I haven't put much content out over the last 3 or 4 months over the summer period. I've been too busy walking and kayaking and drinking and doing stuff other than boxing. But it's good to be back speaking to BKB fighter James Lights Out Lilley. I'm sure everyone watching this interview will know why I'm speaking to James today. James, your name has been rumoured, well, for a lot of things actually, not all boxing related, but
sounds
your name's
right.
been banded around some of the BKB Facebook groups, etc. So just tell us where your BKB future lies, mate.
Okay, so I had an offer from BKFC. They offered me a 5-fight deal, and for me, it was something I couldn't turn down. They're all about getting me out to the States before the end of the year. For someone at my age, who hasn't probably got a lot of fights left, I just felt there was a chance I had to take. In retrospect, I know BKB now are doing a show in Miami or collaborating with a show, whatever. But it's kind of like getting if you play blackjack, you get a good hand, but it's not quite right, and you don't know whether to stick or twist. And on this occasion, I decided to twist, and we'll see if it pays off. So so I've signed with BKFC. I'm hoping to make my debut by the end of the year.
So what were the factors that you had to consider when you were making this move to the American BKBFC? That's the correct term.
Yeah, well, one of the biggest problems at the time was there was no travel between the UK and the US. Like a load of boys I know, like Jack Shaw, Brett Johns, they were going into like COVID bubbles in like America with the UFC and stuff. So they were at shows with no crowds, but all the crowds were allowed back in. The problem was because we got that Delta strain, you weren't allowed to be in the UK, Ireland, China, or India for 2 weeks before you entered the US. So I would have to isolate for 2 weeks in another country. So Dominican Republic and Mexico were the two they were considering because they're the cheapest options. I think Tyler Goodjohn done it when he went out there. Can't remember when his was now. It might be in August. But yeah, so you would isolate in another country. So that was a bit of a problem for me. It was not just the fact that I'd have to take sort of unpaid leave from work because I've got no holidays left at the end of the year. But it's 3 weeks before, and then it would have been 2 weeks in Mexico or Dominican Republic, and then a week in, wherever the show's going to be. It's probably Florida. We're not sure yet. So that would have been 3 weeks away. So not just the unpaid leave. Sorry. It's the fact that it's 3 weeks, probably just before Christmas, away from I got 3 kids. That's going to put a massive strain on my relationship, my family life. So, so that was the only option. So the offer was sitting on the table for like a week. I spoke to Jim. He obviously wanted to keep me, and he was disappointed that I'd been speaking to him, which is fair enough. I was a contracted fighter. I shouldn't have really gone looking elsewhere, but it was kind of the dream to fight in America. As you know, as a fight fan yourself, growing up, we watch all our favourite fighters, and they're always having big fights in America. All British fighters end up going out to America to have a fight. I was watching people like Brett Johns, Jack Shaw, people I know to speak to going across, and I was like, a little bit envious of them. That's the situation I put myself in. I didn't think it was going to happen before the end of my career, and I'm quite content with my career. But when the opportunity came along, I thought, right. And then they announced the travel rules change. So you don't have to do the quarantine anymore. So that kind of made the decision for me then.
And I've heard a lot of fighters saying as well that the American BKBFC, that they pay a lot more money than the British version. Am I right in saying that? Yeah,
what a lot of people will think is they'll say they offered to pay me like 20 grand, which there's nowhere near that. But if they offer to pay me 20 grand, what you got to remember is you're subject then to like American taxes. So I think I can't remember what it goes. Is it the IRS they called over there?
IRS, yeah.
So they always take, like Brett told me before, when he got a win bonus, they took a massive chunk of his change away because they claim it back like a year later, but it's gone. So if you consider that, consider paying your cornerman, BKFC aren't going to pay for your food and your drink for a week. They're already paying for your flights and your hotel and stuff. So you take all that into consideration. You're not going to be left with that much money, but it is still good money. And the chances are, if I get a big fight, it all depends on who I'm fighting. It'll be more money. So like I got a contract for a minimum amount, but if I'm fighting a bigger name, it'd be bigger money.
And I've heard Jim speaking on the subject a number of times on various interviews online, and he has said that British fighters, when they go to BKFC, they don't get looked after as well as basically the way he runs the show in the UK. I mean, is that a factor you've considered, or are you just willing to take that gamble?
Yeah, it's like the only two examples I know of British people going out there at the moment are Mick Terrell went out there, and obviously Tyler Goodjohn went over there. They were the first two sort of British. I know Mark Godbeer was due to fight with them. I can't remember what happened with him, but you go on Google, right, and you're looking for a product that you wanna look for. You always look at the reviews, and you'll always go to the bad reviews first to find out what someone said about this. So the bad reviews will always stick in your mind. But for me, I've got to try and do the experience myself. I know, like people are talking shit about my management team as well, saying, "Oh, they're this, they're that." But I was like, look, they haven't done anything wrong to me. They promised me a new sponsor and a contract, and they've done it. They've done those, and the third promise that they promised me, which is my fight date and location, that's being worked on. So, they've delivered the promises. So I can't say, oh, I've had a bad experience with them. And, it's the same with like BKB. I haven't had a bad experience with them. So I'm not going to go slagging off BKB or talking shit about them because it just makes me look better then. So maybe Tyler and Mick Terrell had bad experiences. I don't know. All I know is that I'm willing to take the risk and experience it myself. Don't get me wrong, I could go over there and it might not be great, and I'll hold my hands up. I'm not that type of person, but I think I want to take a chance, so it's going to happen. And
what was Jim's reaction to hearing that you were considering going across the pond to fight in the American bare knuckle boxing world?
Yeah, he was a bit disappointed, but I know a couple of people. They've went and signed with like BKFC without speaking to Jim first, and I said to him, look, I've got this agreement, and they've sent me a contract, and I haven't signed it. Let's have a chat. And we had a good chat, and I like Jim. I don't really deal with Joe that much. I only see Joe at shows and what he says about the interviews, and he's always been complimentary about me. But I've got a relationship with Jim. That's the person I always speak to, so I find out about fights from. So he was obviously disappointed because they've invested a lot of time in me, and it's exciting for a rival company at the end of the day. If you think about it, like in work, and I've had the same situation. My company split in two, and I went to one half of the company, and I left behind good friends. So I know what he's thinking in his mind, and I've been there in like my employment, but he did try and keep me. He told me that there were big things happening with BKB and possibly America. He said, we can do these fights, but like I said, it was a stick or twist situation. I could have stuck with BKB, and I might not have been one of the ones picked to go to America. I might not have, and then by the time it came round for the next type of shows, I might have had a fight. I might have lost. I might have had an MMA fight or done left Y in Thailand or something else stupid would come up in my mind. So I just felt like, because BKFC is such a big company in America, they got like all the ex-UFC stars who I love to fight because I've watched them on TV and stuff. So I just felt like I wanted to go in a new direction. So I suppose he's still, a little bit, hurt about it, and it is what it is. But it's like I said, I've got nothing but respect for BKB. I'm a BKB fan. One of my oldest mates is fighting in it now for a world title. I'll be supporting him in that. My coach is now training him. So, I got no problem with BKB whatsoever, and I wish them all the best. It's just I felt like I needed to take this new opportunity.
And is it a little bit sort of no, you're not getting any younger, James, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Is it a case of now or never? I mean, if you miss this opportunity may never come around again, or perhaps no, you'll be too old to compete.
Yeah, it's like they're probably not available anymore because me and Di finished. But if you listen to like one of the first Turn the Lights Out podcasts, said to Di, like, I got a bucket list. I want to finish this bucket list before I retire fighting. One of them was fighting in a stadium, which I'd done with the Cage Warriors in the ice rink, and then obviously BKB, they got like 3,000. So I ticked that off. It's not, it's not Wembley Arena, but hey-o.
It's still more than most people.
Yeah, exactly.
Still great achievements.
Yeah, so that's that ticked off. Another one was I wanted to win a belt because I thought they've done all this. I want to win a professional belt. It's I had the opportunity of boxing. I wasn't quite there. I had the opportunity in MMA, wasn't quite there. So I was in BKB for right. I'm gonna win one of these titles, and that's another one ticked off. And then the final one on my bucket list is there's a couple more, but if they happen, they happen. But one of the big ones was fighting abroad as a professional. I've done it as an amateur when I went with the Welsh team abroad, but I wanted to do it as a professional. And to be honest, it could have been anywhere in the world. I would have gone and fought in France, gone and fought in Sweden. I was looking at the Kings of the Street show. There was an opportunity for me to go to Jordan. I would have done anywhere in the world just to say I've done it that once. But then this contract come along, and I think America is a lot of like British fighters' dreams, just to go over there and have a few fighting. The fact I've landed a 5-fight deal, and it means that I'll probably finish my career over there. But like you said, like the bare knuckle community, they seem to be the fighters are a lot older than boxing or MMA, and it's probably because most of them are experienced fighters that have come from boxing or MMA. So I probably have got a few years left, but with the way work is, the fact that I've had like 100 odd fights, maybe more, I can't keep going and keep putting myself through it. It's getting harder and harder. My kids are growing up now. They're noticing when I'm not there. And especially my boy, because we were in lockdown for like a year, my boy's grown up having both his parents around all the time. So he's kind of used to us going there. So, it's hard now. I'm back work now. So I'm working away. So then when I come home from work, I want to go home and see my kids first rather than going to the gym. So there's little bits, I almost retired before the Scott McHugh fight. I was thinking of retiring because I was coming back from an injury. I couldn't get myself up for it. I was 88 kilos. I was just like, what's the point? Work was getting busy. I had the other stuff with writing going on. So I was like, do I really need this? But then someone says to me, oh, do you want to have a fight? And my brain's like, oh, should we have one more? And then I told the missus I was going to retire after I won the title. And she looked at the photo of me celebrating in the ring and she went, retire you.
And just a little side note, you mentioned your kids there, and I think you mentioned immediately after the fight about I'll be able to show your kids this belt you won as a bit of something of you're fighting like you're fighting life, just something you can show them. How did your kids react when you showed them that belt?
Well, my oldest daughter, I made my comeback in boxing when my missus was pregnant with her, and I can remember telling her when she was a grown up, I was like, "Daddy will win you a belt one day." She's only her, I've promised. So I brought it home. She's like, "Oh, I got me a belt," but now my middle daughter's like, "Oh, where's mine then?" I'm like, "Oh, all right." So I'm gonna have to win another belt now before my boy's old enough to work out what's going on before he asks for one, because otherwise I'm gonna fight 50. But no, they were chuffed. Everyone, it was like the crown jewel of my career, really. And I'm really proud to have won because BKB is like, and without trying to cause too much offense, you get some of these like little shows and they'll just make a belt up and put it on. And I've been offered to fight on like unlicensed boxing or semi-pro for titles, and I don't want to do it because I've boxed at pro level. I feel like I'm cheating a little bit going back down to that level and winning a belt, but BKB is legit, you know. It's the same as like MMA shows that have been around for, 10 years. They're legit. So I feel like winning a title that I've won, BKB's got to be the best in the UK, maybe Europe for bare knuckle. I think its only rivals at that level is BKFC. So to win that title for me was a crown jewel. I think for all my family, my nan wanted the picture of it and stuff. They were all chuffed because, I don't. What's the word? It's not like I don't take the sport serious. I'm not one of these live, breathe boxing. I love boxing. I love MMA. I love fighting, but it's not something I talk about 24/7. Like some people are obsessed with it. So although I'm a little bit of a joker and quite relaxed with it, I think they know that it means a lot and all the work I put in. I don't think I could have retired unless I got myself a belt.
So looking forward to America, I know you said that they're still giving you a date and they're looking for opponents, but I presume you know in your head roughly around what date, and I presume you must roughly know, is it a short list of potential opponents, or do you know just by the guys in your region who you might be fighting?
Yeah, they've given me a couple of names. The problem they got at the moment is I think they got 2 shows in November and they got 2 shows in December, and I think they're like a week apart each one. It's like the last of the year. So some fighters weren't getting their bout agreements till 4 weeks before the show. So although they said, "Oh, you're fighting Joe Bloggs," you won't get the fight agreement. So in a way, I kind of know who they want me to fight, but I'm just going to prepare as best I can. I don't think any of the BKFC boys have fought anyone like myself, like a technical boxer. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good experience. And like people say about having the ring as a circle instead of that, but we do a lot of pad work, a lot of sparring in cages, so it's not much different from that. So I feel that I've got a lot more experience and tools to go over there with. Turn some heads, like.
And have they given you a career path, if you like? If you win this fight, then you move on to this, or is that still to be decided?
Yeah. So my management team have given me an idea of where I will go if I win this first fight. Because at the minute they've like BKFC have just had a massive investment, so they've got loads of good big name American fighters, ex-UFC fighters, all signed at the moment. Chad Mendes has just signed. He's meant to be fighting. I've asked for him, but obviously he's busy. They've got a few more to announce this week, so it's looking good. So yeah, I'm going to take a leaf out of Jake Paul's list, and I'm going to post up a list of people I want to fight once I get this first fight announced, and we'll go from there then.
So I think reading between the lines, you're probably going to need a new Twitter account soon, because no doubt you'll probably get in some sort of arguments with someone and probably get your account taken down again.
No, my new Twitter account, I'm more behaved now because I'm part of the literary community now, so I got a lot more eyes on me. I remember to log out if I've had a drink and not to argue with someone so much. No, I kind of chilled out on Twitter a bit now. It's just doing my head in. Like I've only just got back up to like 1,000 followers, and I was close to like triple that before the ban, like, so I can't be bothered. I try not to swear on it or anything now either. It's just
how do people in the poetry world take to you, or how do they view you? I'm guessing you don't come across, well, I mean, most people don't come across bare knuckle boxers in any walk of life really, but I'm sure the poetry world is a rarity.
It's funny because like I get some fighters sending me their poetry saying, "Oh, what do you think?" And then I get some poets send me videos of them fighting saying, "What do you think?" So it's a mad. Funny enough, you just remind me I meant to ring someone later about doing like a collab with them, but they don't understand like how you can flip between both worlds. But for me, it's like I've always done both. You know, it's for as long as I can remember, I've always done both. I just haven't been so sort of forthcoming with them. So yeah, you know, I'm part of like a WhatsApp group with a load of them, and they always ask loads of questions, but then I'm asking the same type of questions about their books and stuff, you know. So
yeah. And just before you go, I know you're actually in work at the moment, so I don't want to hold on too long. What was your thoughts on Fury and Wilder the other night?
It was great, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. Like I didn't think the fight had as much build up as like the second or first, and although there was a lot, I didn't find there was as much stuff on social media for it, like the build up. Like I can remember watching for the second fight, like loads of like stuff build up week, and like Fury was always posting photos and training videos and stuff, and I was like really excited for it. But this week I was just like, oh, they're fighting Saturday, I'm gonna watch it. But there didn't seem to be that much anticipation, and maybe it's because Fury was so good in the second fight. You know, Wilder didn't do nothing, but I really enjoyed it, and I did put a sneaky tenner on Wilder to stop Fury in the fourth. Because most of the odds were rubbish, but I was looking at the odds and it was 22-1. So I was like, right, 10 on that then. I was telling everyone, I was like, Wilder in the fourth. And then I was sitting in my bed watching on my phone, and I was like, oh, he's down again. But yeah, no, it was a really good. And you know, people are saying like, oh, it was a classic trilogy. It was, you know, that fight would stood up in any of the eras. It was brilliant. You know, it was. Especially when Fury got knocked down the second time, you thought he hasn't been knocked down like this twice in a round by Wilder before, and you know, your heart was in your mouth type of thing. It was great, but Wilder just looked exhausted. He just looked like he was dead on his feet after like the.
He seemed to unravel, didn't he, as the fight went on? I think.
Yeah, I know what they were saying, like, oh, Fury's tombstone heavy, and he was leaning on him, but I didn't think he was doing as much leaning on him until later on. Like the first 5 rounds, it was a little bit back and forth, but then after that, when he was getting exhausted, he was leaning on him more then.
I think the referee read him the riot act at one point, didn't he? He read Fury the riot act,
yeah,
so carry on leaning on him, and you probably take a point to win, so he seemed to ease off of it then. But I when I woke up, I didn't get up for the fight, because I watched the boxing on the Zone and had a few beers, so I thought, I'm not going to try and get up, because it just ruins me for days after. So I watched it as soon as I get up in the morning. But as soon as I get up in the morning, I looked at my phone, I seen a text off you, and I knew you put that bet on. So I was wondering, was that you gloating, saying my bet was right? So when round 4 came around and Fury was down twice, I said, oh, that's what James has texted me. He's texted me just to gloat that his bet has come in. But
well, I was out for a stag do Saturday. I wasn't drinking, but I was out for a stag, and I come home, and I didn't get home till like 11:30, and I had food in the house. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to get up in the morning. And my kids had woken up the early thing. I said, right, I'm not going to bother getting up. And for some reason, I woke up and it was 10-5. And everyone had been texting me saying, oh, the ring walks at 4. So I was like, right, I'm going to check Sky Sports now or Twitter, see how we got off. And it just come up on my phone, live stream now of the fight. So I was like, oh, so I clicked on it, and there was the fight. And I was just like, oh, there we are. Brilliant.
Happy days.
Yeah.
There we are then, James. It's been good
to
catch up with you. Do you want to just give a shout out to any of your social media where people can follow you?
I'm on James Lights 1411.
Oh, and James is frozen. I don't know if you can hear me there, James. Or if he's frozen his phone, but
that's not the number. Yeah. Well, sorry, mate. Are we back?
There we are. Now you're back.
Sorry, that was some pesky engineer trying to ring me because I'm meant to work. Yeah, so I'm James 1411 on Twitter, and I'm James Lilley 86 on Instagram. Just want to give a shout out to my management team, Bare Knuckle Management, Paul and Remy. They're the guys who made the dream come true, landed the free and all that, home of the brave. But yeah, all my sponsors are on there. I'm not going to go for the list now because I'll forget otherwise. I forgot to put someone up. I always put my sponsor up on a Friday, and I was out in the car or something and in the passenger seat, and I was trying to do my sponsor, and I forgot someone. And I was like, oh, they're not going to notice. And then he had an order at me in one of the groups. He went, oh, you forgot to put my sponsorship post up. I look forward to that on a Friday. So I was like, oh, fuck. So,
there we are, mate. Okay, I'll leave you get back to work. Thanks for your time, James. And
thank you, mate. Cheers,
good luck in the USA, and I'll hopefully see you sometime in the near future.
Yeah, nice one, mate.
Cheers, James. All the best, mate.